she's thinking about, hey, I want to be able to wash my face, and I'm thinking about, well, if the diameter of the drain pipe doesn't match the diameter of the actual drain, and the inlet to the tank is lesser, are we going to see a backup when we are using our water supply?
So it sounds like you are more at the beginning of your van life journey. So I guess what are some of the challenges maybe that you faced so far getting into it? I'm sure that's a loaded question.
It is. I mean, we're 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 kind of in between where you find a lot of van lifers, I think. She's in her mid-30s, I'm in my early 40s. And so you usually have the people who start at young, who are just, let's buy a van and live in it, and boom, it's done. It's like carrying things of water. How are we going to figure this out? The next day is a mystery. And then you have the people who are retiring, who are doing it and traveling the country and have that comfort of a lifetime of savings, or fallbacks of, well, we own our property or own our home and we can go back. And we're kind of in the middle. We have a reliable income that let us do this, but we don't have the property. So our fallback. So we're kind of like running that gamut. We can build a van that's going to do everything we need it to do. We can afford to jump into the adventure, and kind of be a little, throw caution to the wind financially to make sure we can do it. But our fallback is the same as the people who are younger than us. Is like, well,
yeah,
we're just gonna end up somewhere. So
yeah. Well, and just having a plan too, like making sure that we're set up for success. We read something like a blog not too long ago of someone with like trash talking van life because they just quit their job and just went in their van. It's like, you need to have some kind of fallback. You can't just tell and expect that everything's going to go smoothly. Things are going to break. There's going to be messes in there. We've already had a couple of messes in there. We don't even have it completely built yet, but we're using it as much as we can while we're building it, which I think makes our situation a little different as well, because we're kind of almost going backwards.
We ran into a van lifer when we bought our van, and we're bringing it back from Texas, which is its own thing. We came up and back into Oregon. We stopped in Hood River, and you're from the East Coast, correct?
Right. Yep.
Right. So we came into Hood River, which, Oregon is a huge microbrew place. You can't go into any town and not find some brewery or tap house or something. And we stopped at one that's well known in Hood River, and just randomly, this guy was there with his dog, and we're dog people. If you've seen our posts, that's kind of the center of our.
It's one of the other challenges. I'll get to
that. but he was asked. We just struck a conversation. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here with my van." I was like, "Oh, cool. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about it." And we just started talking about getting the van life, and he made the comment, "Use it. Use it as you build it. Don't wait for it to be done to enjoy it. Use it and we kind of embrace that. But we're also not like everything in the van is going to come out of it at this stage. We got to pull it all out. We got to paint. We got to finalize. Everything we've done is bolted in. It's not screwed in or glued at this point, so that we can, make changes to it. It's kind of a modular outlook. So,
so we gave ourselves that challenge, I guess.
So planning. Planning is not being able to finalize things up front, because we want to see how it actually plays out as we go.
We have 200 pounds worth of dog. So Chloe's 120, Duke's about 70, 75, and they take up a lot of space. She's a Great Dane mix. He's a Golden Retriever. And that's definitely a challenge, just kind of thinking of how everything's going to work. And, like we all can't be up at the same time, and they like sleeping on the bed. And then just making sure Chris is someone he's a, what like a hobby, like hobbies are your hobby.
Hobby engineer.
Hobby engineer.
I'm a hobby engineer.
and then everything has to be so precise too. So just like the planning phase of it takes so long. Like every time I try to record something, it's usually just Chris like staring and thinking.
Yeah.
So I have to,
Yeah, 90% of our process has been me standing in the van just staring at something, thinking, trying to think the next 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, and that's challenging. And I mean our relationship too, it doesn't cause a challenge, but I'm someone who like when I get started, I need to get it done ASAP, like as soon as possible. And it's like I don't want to cut corners, but I want it done. If we're doing this, like let's go to the store, let's get everything done, let's do it right now. And he's the complete opposite. So just trying to find that balance also between us. And
you know, she's thinking about, hey, I want to be able to wash my face, and I'm thinking about, well, if the diameter of the drain pipe doesn't match the diameter of the actual drain and the inlet to the tank is lesser, are we going to see a backup when we are using our water supply? You know, those type of things. So there's some personal challenges there. I would say our biggest challenge overall was just getting a van.
Oh my gosh, it's so popular right now. And then with the production and
we had to fly to Texas to get ours because van life is huge in Oregon. And the local dealers were charging 10,000 over, asking for a 2-wheel drive, 30,000 over for a 4-wheel drive. And so we had to fly to Texas. We found a dealer that sells them for MSRP. And I called down. I was like, hey, I see this one on your site. Can we just lock this in? And they're like, no, it's sold.
It's already spoken for.
And then he called me like 2 days later, and he's like, I have this other one coming in that's not spoken for.
We'll
It's
take
the
it.
only one. I was like, does it have the 360-degree camera? And he's like, yes. I was like, we're in. Let's do this. That was like my one thing. Anything else we can make do, but that camera was, for some reason, was clutch.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Did you guys fly down and then drive it all the way back, or was it?
Cool. 2,000 miles.
That was your first van life experience. Then was taking it all the way back from
the. We didn't do like a lot of people where they go and pick them up and then they stay in them as they come back. we hoteled it, but no, it was kind of a that has, I think that initial purchase kind of drove us into our biggest van life adventure, which was that 2,000-mile trip. And we were driving through Texas, which there's nothing in Texas. And
the north part,
it was
so flat.
It was like, here's our great adventure.
Where are the mountains?
So
where do they go hiking?
We detoured up to Colorado. We made our trip longer so that we could drive through the mountains and see some sights. And we took it out and didn't, kind of see what happens when you run into a little unexpected weather and snow and cross breeze assist and all those things. But the van, that was definitely the biggest thing. I mean, we were looking at used vans. I was going back to like 2005, and you're still looking at these things that are beat up delivery vans with 200,000 miles. They're going for $16,000 to $25,000 still, and it's like, well, a brand new one is $60,000, and but you get your warranties and get all that stuff. And well, like I said, we're in a position where we can do that, and so we jumped in there. But once you were in that, you're all in. I mean, you go and spend $60,000 on a cargo van.
No turning back. No turning back. But hey, we're not going to be able to afford a house over here anytime soon. So it is our house.
And I think that's something else to mention about what kind of drove this was, we're not going to buy a house. The housing market's too high. And now we're watching interest rates creep up. And it's even becoming less likely in the coming years that we're going to be able to do that, which gives us more incentive to pursue this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting just because of how things have changed. It's just people's, not priorities, but just the way that they live is just, it's changed. It's different now. But if people make the best of it, it can be, a really great kind of adventure just to do alternative sort of living. Yeah.
Yes.